Hey, gun people. All right, get a couple little crazy cop stories out here. These deal with two women that, two different women that I thought kind of got a raw deal. One case, this woman in DV, I've talked about this in my DV videos. Domestic violence is one of those things that are kind of like, you know, it used to be cops and government stayed out of personal business. They didn't get involved in your divorce, they didn't get involved in your disputes, they stayed out of it. And then when some women end up getting killed by their husband, people kind of went, you know, cops ought to be protecting, or we ought to be doing something, because when we respond, if it was considered marital problems, cops were out of it. We called it a civil matter, it was done. This is before all the laws on domestic violence and you had to arrest, and before women now can just say, he hit me, take him to jail, and cops got to arrest the guy. Okay, so it went from one extreme to the other, and you know, somewhere in the middle is probably right, but this woman, like most domestic violence, heat of the battle, they get pissed, they call the cops, guy goes to jail, the guy's going to lose his job, she doesn't have any money, she wants him back, it was a fight, he shouldn't have went to jail, they probably would have worked it out, but now that she got the police involved, the government says, screw you, he ain't getting out of jail. So, domestic violence victims a lot of times, I don't know of lots of good example, I'd say 99%, well maybe 95% of the time, do not want to testify and do not want to press charges after the guy's in jail. It's a big power play, it's a big pissed off play, I'm mad at you, I'll show you, I got power, I can get you in jail, call the cops, you go to jail. Now, how about that? So then when the guy gets out, it's like, if you ever do that again, I'll send you back to jail. You want to go back to jail? So they have that over their head. So that's how domestic violence is used now. So this woman, probably somewhere in the middle of that situation, calls the cops, guy gets arrested, she's like, look, I don't want to press charges. He's out of jail, he's back at work. If I testify, you're going to convict him. If you convict him, he's going to lose his job. He's going to have to go to jail. He's going to have to pay fines. I don't want all that problem in my head. We worked it out. We're together. Leave us alone. Look, I've said it before. Once government gets involved and you get government involved, you cannot get them out. They run the show. They have all the power. They can do what the hell they want, and there's no saying, hey, sorry I called. Go away. I'd rather not have you involved. You're screwed. That's what I tell people. Don't get the government involved. But anyway, this lady did this. DA was like, wanting to prosecute. Thing went to trial. They subpoenaed her, said, you're ordered to show up. She goes, I ain't showing up. Or her mistake was she stayed at home. She should have went in hiding. So the court's on the case, blah, blah. The judge says, call your next witness. He goes, Your Honor, I called this person. She's not answering her phone. We've got her statement here. We'd like to read the statement. The defense is like, objection. I don't want her statement. I can't cross-examine her statement. I need a witness here. He has a right to face his accuser, blah, blah. Of course, he's playing a game that he wants the DA to dismiss because he don't have his witness. Well, he forced the hand. The DA goes, Your Honor, I want the person arrested. I've got a detective here. And I was sitting in court, and he goes, I got a detective here. I'd like you to order him to the house to go check her house and to bring her. Judge goes, no problem. Bang. Detective Gore, go get her. Bring her in front of me. Use what force is necessary. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, I didn't say that to the judge, but I'm just like, really? No, I gotta go. The woman's already been beat up by her piece of shit husband once. Now you want me to go beat her up as a cop and drag her ass to court? I just thought that was freaking, that was so offensive to me that I was just like disgusted. And I was disgusted at the DA for doing it. I was disgusted at the judge. I was disgusted at the freaking defense for forcing it. And of course the damn defendant's sitting there going, well, shit, man, I'll show them. I'll just make them bring her to court. Well, great. Now I got to go out there and fight this woman and use force to bring her. So I thought it sucked. But I was a cop, and I was given an order. And people don't realize this, that a judge can give an order. When you get a search warrant, that's a court order from a judge. He signed it. When you get a subpoena, that's a court order. Any court orders from a judge are normally written. But a judge has the power to give an oral warrant or an oral order. If I'm sitting at a bar and there's a judge over here and I know he's a judge and he knows I'm a cop and I'm off duty and we're both drinking and he says, Gore, arrest this guy for theft and to go book him in jail. That's the same as if he signed an order ordering me to arrest this guy. I got to arrest this guy. Now, obviously there's exceptions to the rule, very rare exceptions, but if there's an exception I refuse that order, I got to be able to prove it. And probably, to be honest, the only way I'm going to refuse the judge's order is if I can arrest the judge. So if he was drunk and belligerent and being an ass and he just wanted me to arrest everybody in a bar, then I'd be like, you know what? I think you're drunk in public, I'm going to arrest you. But a judge can give an order, an oral order. I can call a judge and say, Judge, I don't have time to get a thing. I've got a guy in here. I need a warrant. I can give him my probable cause over the phone. He can issue an oral warrant right there over the phone. Now, normally there's procedures in place to where our oral warrants had to be recorded. If you did an oral warrant, you would do a three-way conference call with the DA on the line. The DA would agree that there's probable cause, so he could defend the warrant. The DA could ask you questions. The judge could ask you questions. You do all this over the phone. It's all recorded, and then later, usually within 24 hours of the next business day, it has to be typed up and brought to the judge for the judge to review and sign. And then you have a written order. But he can give you an oral order right there and go ahead and search the house. I give you permission. So now I have a search warrant. Now, by law, I have to provide somebody with a search warrant when I search their house. They have to get a copy. In an oral case, I don't have a copy. Well, now they got text and email. I could probably say, hey, man, I'm going to email or whatever. So there's ways around it. But judges can give oral orders, and it's just the same as a search warrant or written order or an arrest warrant. And when a judge signs an arrest warrant and arrests this person, he's ordering any peace officer to go arrest this person. So when he looks at me and says, Detective Gore, go get this woman, use force when necessary, and bring her back to my courtroom. We're going to be in recess. I'm like, shit. So I leave. Well, of course, I go to the house. I run her plate. There's a car in front. It comes back to her. I'm like, shit. I pull up. As I'm walking up, I see the drapes move, so I think she sees me. I knock on the door. I go, hey, anybody in there? She doesn't answer. I hear footsteps. I go, look, I'm here because the judge told me I got to take you to court. I'm not going to court. I go, yeah, you are. I got to take you. I said, if you don't open the door, I'm going to kick it. She says, go away. I don't want to go to court. I don't remember if I ended up breaking her lock or kicking her door, but I had the force entry. I forced entry, grabbed her, handcuffed her. She resisted and brought her to court, shoved her in my car and brought her straight to court. And I'm just like, I felt like shit because I'm like, this just doesn't seem right. It doesn't pass a smell test. But it was what it was. I brought her to court. I don't even remember what happened. I left. Once I got her to court, I was fucking pissed and left. But so I don't even remember if she testified, refused to testify, whatever. If she refused to testify, all they would do is give her to court and say, is this your statement where you're lying then? You know, and if she takes the fifth, then probably the defense attorney has already talked to her and said, look, if they do get you in court, here's what you need to say, and here's the, you know. So it's all a big game. The government gets to play the game. They get to use their monkeys like me to go enforce their game. Meanwhile, they're all sitting in a cool courtroom in their suits looking cool, and I'm out here freaking wrestling and arresting some poor lady who's already been victimized by one asshole. Now you got another guy in uniform doing it. But whatever. I wasn't in uniform, but I was like this with my police vest on. But whatever. So anyway, I didn't like it. So that's one crazy cop story that kind of pissed me off that I didn't like it. Here's another one where a woman got screwed. So I'm in court, and this one judge, I can't remember his name now, but he was Mr. God Judge. Everything was about God. You could go out and rape 14 children if you went in there holding the Bible, and when you testified, you quoted the scripture and said, I found the Lord. And the judge would fucking pretty much let you go and wouldn't give you shit or give you a case or give you bail or release you. I hated this freaking judge because, you know, all the crooks knew him. Yo, man, you want Fall? That was his name. He's probably still an acting judge. Judge Fall. Worst judge ever. I mean, nice guy, supposedly family guy, had some values and morals, thought he was doing the right things, but totally used the bench to push his religion. And anybody that had religion was so gay, and if you didn't accept the Lord, well, then you were the devil and evil, and he would screw you. So, I mean, and it wasn't that way. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. I didn't like the guy. In my opinion, he was a jerk and he was a shitty judge. You know what? He's probably still a judge. He's probably been reelected. I ended up filing a complaint on him. On this incident, as a matter of fact. So we're in court one day, and it was on some child abduction or a case where I had to go get a kid, and I seized the kid because the mother supposedly ran with the kid or didn't return it during visitation, or the dad said that the mother was prostituting and he didn't want his kid in that environment. So the kid was in danger. So I forgot the specifics on how I ended up in this case, but I know I had to go grab the kid. And when I got the kid from the woman, I mean, I kind of felt sorry for her. I mean, I think she probably was hooking. She was in one of our hooker strip hotels. She was in a hotel in West Sacramento, and I went in there, and she was probably turning tricks, but the kid had food. It had baby food. The kid was taken care of. It was dressed. It was clean. I was like, man, I don't know if the kid's in danger, but if you're bringing strangers in here and sleeping with them, then the kid is in danger. But And I think I questioned her, and she said, I'm not doing them here, and when I leave, I have one of my friends come watch them, but I have to make a living, I have no money, and he's got money, and he's got a lawyer, and I can't, and I kind of felt sorry for the lady. So I still had to take the kid in protective custody, because I was like, I'm not sure that the kid's safe here. I said, I'm sorry, I got to take it. So I ended up taking the kid. So she comes to court. When she comes to court, she's dressed in what she thinks is nice. It's clean. It's kind of a low-cut top. It looks a little hookerish, but she had earrings on, she had makeup on, and she was trying to present herself as best she could. Well, she went in front of the Jesus lawyer, or the Jesus court judge, and he lit into her and embarrassed her. And I mean, this girl was trying, and she was in a rough place. And he tore into her. How dare you come to my court dressed like a hooker? You don't come to my court. That isn't appropriate attire. He told the lawyer, you get your client out of here and get her dressed appropriately and cover her up. And I mean, look, she wasn't showing cleavage and had her tits hanging out and shorts up to the crock of her ass. It wasn't like that. She had a skirt on that was clean. She had a top on, a blouse that was a little low cut. It was probably her best clothes. And court should not be about how you come to court. And that pissed me off. That judge freaking irritated the shit out of me. I wanted to yank him off the bench and go, you're a piece of shit. But anyway, I was sitting there watching this poor lady get her ass. She leaves the courtroom crying. She's all upset. The lawyer goes outside and puts his suit jacket on her. So she comes in now with a suit jacket in front of a courtroom of people. And the judge is like, don't ever come here again. Let me hear your case. You think this woman felt comfortable that she was going to get a fair shake from this guy? You think she had any clue of fairness that she would get some sort of fair deal? Hell no, and I don't blame her. So she was crying, she couldn't talk, she was upset, and the judge pretty much, I think, just ruled in the other guy's favor and said, you know what, till you can prove to me you got your act, whatever. He ended up ruling on the case, however it was, I don't remember, but I was freaking pissed. So I went back, I'm like, you know what, I'm about fed up with this piece of shit. I'm filing a complaint with the, I think it's a Judicial Board of Review. So when you file a complaint on the judge, that's a big deal. I doubt if you can find any cop that you know. I don't know of any other cop that I ever known that ever filed a complaint on a judge. Because when you file a complaint on a judge, shit's gonna hit the fan when you go in front of that judge. He's gonna leave you out to dry, he's gonna chastise you, he's gonna screw you, he's gonna rule against you, he's gonna suppress your evidence, he's gonna make you look like a fool every chance he gets because you complained on him. And any judge that's a friend of his is gonna do probably the same thing. Because those judges stick together with their little black robe club, and they don't like that shit when you complain on them. But you know what? I didn't give a shit. I was like, that's bullshit. So I filled out a complaint, signed my name, said this is totally inappropriate. He chewed her out, he treated her like shit, she didn't get a fair day in trial. I freaking laid into him. So I showed it to one of the DAs for our city. He goes, dude, I don't think you ought to send this man. I go, why? I said, it's true. He goes, yeah, but still, you know your shit's gonna be weak if you go in front of the judge. I go, you know what? I guess it'll just be weak. Because I sent that shit in, I complained on his ass. And I can't remember if I ever went in front of him again, because he was, I think he was kept in a certain court. I don't know if he did a lot of criminal. Most of my shit was felony. So I don't think I ran, he wasn't doing a lot of felonies, so I don't think I ran into him again. Maybe I did, but you know what? I didn't give a shit. That was bullshit. And that's the problem with the system when you get lawyers and these black robes that think they're God and they make all these rulings and they forget that there's real people out there with real struggles trying to make it, doing the best they could. This woman was trying to do the right thing and dress the best she could with what she had, and he treated her like shit, and he wants to sit up there and talk about how godly he is and how God this. That's one more reason that I'm just kind of against religion, but there's others. Anyway, I'll end that there. I don't want to get this into religion.